Supermicro computer is up about 25% in the last 6 months, but in the last month, down about 9%. And last week, it formed an inside bar, showing investor indecision. Also, we can see on the weekly chart, there is a flag pattern forming, suggesting there could be a breakout either way, to the upside or the downside. So in this video, I want to unpack the price action of Supermicro, long-term, medium-term and short-term, and look at whether there's a trading opportunity on the horizon. Let's take a look. So you can see on screen, I have drawn a trend line under the price action here from the trough in November 2024 and including the troughs in April 25 and last week also. It's got one line there and also a line on the top as well, including the most recent price peak of Feb 25 and also last week's price peak here, 28th of April. So we can see the price is starting to compress. We are getting consecutively higher lows, but also lower highs. And price does seem to be compressing into this area here, suggesting there could be a breakout on the horizon. So generally what we see when we do have a flag pattern is price breakout either way, either towards the upside or towards the downside. And if we zoom out on the weekly chart of Supermicro, we can see this stock has been in a long-term uptrend. Since the low in October 2018, Supermicro has moved up consecutively over the last 5 years. And you can see it's made consecutive higher highs and higher lows as it's been trending up. Now, around about July 2022, the stock actually took off, moving away from the long-term trend line and forming a medium-term uptrend, more accelerated, more aggressive. So we can see at this point here, there was some consolidation after this new accelerated uptrend. And we can see here there was some euphoric price action in around December 23 up until March 24. And as we know, whenever you see this euphoric buying action, it's normally the last stage of the upward movement before we get a price correction. And we can see here that's exactly what happened. So in around March, April 2024, price did reverse and started to form a new downtrend. So since that peak in March 2024, price has been trending downwards. And we can see the formation of lower highs and lower lows as price has moved downwards. But it does seem to have found significant support around this $17 level here in November 24, so around 6 months ago. And since then, it has been trying to form a medium-term uptrend with the creation of higher lows and higher highs. So if we mark up some trend lines on the bottom of the price action, also the top, you'll notice that there is a flag pattern forming. Now, typically when you get this type of pattern, price is compressing with buyers and sellers, fighting over which way the price is going to go. And typically you get two outcomes. Price either breaks out to the upside or it breaks down to the downside, breaking these lines here. So what could happen is price will break out to the upside, something like this, or we get a breakout to the downside, something like this. Of course, there is a third possibility, and that is price continues to track sideways. But I don't think this is going to happen. If we look closely at the way the price action is formed over the last sort of 6 months, we can see price is respecting this lower trend line here with the formation of these lower lows. Now, if you look closely at the last 5 weeks, so starting in sort of March 2025, we can see these lows here are getting higher. Now this one here, the week of 21st of April, the low was 28.90. Then last week, the low was 28.78. So that low last week, it did break slightly lower than that week there. So there is some selling pressure last week. And you can see that it opened high and closed low, but the close was above the 50% of the down bar, showing the selling isn't that strong, and price was able to close above 33.46. Now this week, which obviously is still unfolding, we've got an inside bar at the moment showing indecision in the price action. So it will be interesting to see what price does this week and where it closes. But the way that it's setting up at the moment does indicate there's a higher probability that price is going to move upwards and keep respecting this trend line here. Now next, I want to mark up some key price levels on the chart so we can get an idea of where Supermicro is in terms of the overall price action, and where could be a possible entry for a short or medium term trade. So the first level I've marked up, you can see, is around $22.50, which is corresponding to this price action here, covering May 23 until January 24, about 6 months. And you can see, if I zoom in a bit, Supermicro consecutively pulled away from this price level, came back and found support, and price wasn't able to move downwards. So the sellers did try, but there was enough buying interest to keep that price above this key level of $22.50. And you can see I've marked up this price level here of around $36, which corresponds to this price peak here. So you can see after Supermicro broke through the 22.50 level in June 23, it did find resistance at this level of 35.83 before coming back and finding support. And it bounced up and down for a few months before finally breaking out in January 2024. So this could be a level to look out for the future. Next level I've marked up is 66.24, corresponding to this peak here. This is the most recent price peak for Supermicro, which was formed in February 2025. So clearly there is some level of resistance here, which it might face in the future. And the last level I've marked up is the all-time high for Supermicro, which is around $123. So now that we've got the key price levels on the chart, we can see that Supermicro at the moment is trading around this level here, $32, and it's just underneath this key level of $35. So price might face some resistance trying to break through this level as it starts to move up in a bullish scenario. Of course, I'm going to talk about two scenarios, the bullish scenario and the bearish, to cover both sides, because you never quite know what price is going to do. It's all about thinking about the probability of what price could do, but always thinking about the worst case scenario and protecting your capital. So if you are looking to buy into Supermicro, perhaps for a medium term trade, where could be a good entry? I think at the moment, looking at the price action, an entry above this peak here could be an option. So this peak here from last week is 37.82. And also, if you were to enter there, it also clears this key level here of $35. So effectively, if you enter above this peak, you're entering above that last week's high and also this key level here, which reflects the peak over here as well. So that would indicate buyers are in control and there's higher probability that price is going to move up. And if you were to take that trade entering above this level here, what's the upside? Well, applying the TradingView trend tool, we can see that the upside potential to this next level of potential resistance is 74%. And you could put your stop loss at the last week low here of around 33.69, which would be about 11%. So you've got almost a 1-to-7 risk reward ratio, which is very, very strong. So this could be a good trading opportunity for Supermicro. And if price was to break through this key level here of $66, taking out this peak here, price could keep running on up until the next level of resistance here, which is the all-time high of 122. So this would be a massive 223% upside, which would be a sort of medium to long-term trade. It would probably take, 6 to 12 months for that to unfold, but could give you a great return. Now, if you're more risk averse, then you might want to wait for the price action to clear this zone here and actually take out this peak here of $66. So that could be another entry point in the next few months. And if you were to enter here and set a 10% stop loss, you could put your potential take profit level at the all-time high of 122, giving you an upside of 85%, which is also really, really good. So those are two trading opportunities for Supermicro. And that's the bullish scenario. But what about the bear side? What if price falls away? Where could it go and where might it stop? So looking at the chart, we have got this short to medium term trend line supporting the price action. But you'll notice that the price action in Supermicro is quite a long way away from this longer term trend line. You can see back here, if you remember, price did pull away from the longer term trend in July 22. It pulled away quite aggressively. There was a euphoric buying pattern here before it started a short-term downtrend. Since then, it's found support here. It's trying to move back up. But at the moment, price could go either way. And if it falls away and it breaks this short-term trend line, the probability is it's going to fall and possibly find support at this level here of $22. So that's the first level where it might find support and try to move up once again. Worst case scenario, if there is more selling pressure, then the price may fall further. And it might fall into this level of $11 here, which, if you notice, this level here corresponds with the long-term trend line over the last 5 years, which should be quite a strong level. So this level here, where the two lines intersect, is a key support level for Supermicro, around $11. So those are my thoughts on Supermicro. Whether you're a trader or an investor, I don't think this stock is quite ready yet to buy, but I think over the next few weeks we will get more confirmation of price direction. Thanks for watching.